From seizing victory at the opening round in Bahrain to crossing the line second in Saudi Arabia with the tightest of margins, Charles Leclerc is posing a prodigious threat to reigning world champion Max Verstappen. Leclerc hinted there's more to come from the Ferrari powerhouse in the following races, as he's aiming to extend his current 20-point margin to rival Verstappen. "I am happy with the start to this season," he said, "but there is definitely more to come," Leclerc warned his Red Bull counterpart. The pairing battled incredibly hard in both Bahrain and Jeddah, already exchanging the lead 10 times during the two opening races, something the young Ferrari driver believes he's enormously skilled at. "I think in a wheel-to-wheel battle, I am quite strong and I always try to be better," Charles told the press following his unsuccessful Saudi charge before elaborating on a new phenomenon we've continuously been seeing from the Monegasque this season. "I basically knew that if I was leaving Max with a DRS behind for the main straight, I will be overtaken very easily," he said, reflecting on the last race. "So I just wanted that DRS." And it was the drag reduction system that proved to be critical in both Grand Prix, with Jeddah being the most visual demonstration of them all. "On the first lap, I braked very early and I got the DRS and managed to overtake back on the run to turn 1. And then the second one, obviously Max knew that I was going to do that, so we both braked quite early, but I still managed to stay in front at the end. The third time, it didn't work out for me," said the Ferrari man, whom the DRS cost the victory that Sunday. "Well, if I didn't have DRS today, I would have never passed," Verstappen said, as he admitted the outcome would have favored Ferrari if it weren't for the additional assistance. "If DRS wouldn't be there, I would have been second today," Max summed up moments after clinching his 21st career victory. There's no denying that both Leclerc and Verstappen now have championship-winning machinery at their disposal, and with the two cars looking relatively on par with performance, many believe it will be the driver who makes all the difference this season. Marc Genet, a racing driver and a Ferrari ambassador, now opened up about the enormous mindset shift he's seeing with Charles this season, going as far as calling him Leclerc 2.0. "Charles? He used to be very emotional, and this year he has changed a lot. Charles is like a 2.0 version of himself," the former Ferrari test driver opened up. "When I went to Barcelona for the private testing, we spent a lot of time together, and he was completely changed in his mindset and his mentality, and you can see it," he continued, before admitting he was slightly shocked with the way the Ferrari driver handled his first pole position of the season. "In Bahrain, I was expecting Charles to be more over the moon after qualifying, after the pole and the race, but he seemed so much more mature and aware that this is a very long championship," Genet concluded. It's fair to say that both drivers are on a similar level, with Verstappen perhaps having a slight edge over Leclerc already having experienced a successful title charge. So, it only makes sense that many, including former F1 driver Ralf Schumacher, are of the opinion that the Driver's Crown trophy will in reality be awarded to the team's engineers. "The cars that were built according to completely new regulations are still relatively early in their development," said Schumacher. "I think Ferrari are furthest along at the moment. But Red Bull are masters at making a car faster over the course of a season. Ferrari have to counter that, otherwise it will be difficult for the title. But I think they know that," he concluded. And Schumacher's prediction is already starting to fall into play, as Red Bull announced a strong upgrade package for the fourth race of the season at Imola, as it's rumored the team's challenger will lose around 8 kilos in weight, resulting in as much as a 0.2 difference on a single lap pace. But it wasn't just Schumacher who sided with the more technical narrative, as Leclerc himself selflessly acknowledged it will be the engineers back at the Maranello factory who decide the outcome of his 2022 season. "As I have said many times, I think development will be key, and we as drivers need to help the team in the best way possible to keep this competitiveness. Whether it will be enough or not to win the World Championship, I have no idea," Charles admitted. And you could already see the development war in action in Jeddah, with the Red Bull car having an advantage over the scarlet red Ferrari, as the Austrian team fitted their RB18 with a low downforce rear wing for the Saudi venue, resulting in greater straight-line speed, something Leclerc was very aware of during the race. "I think the point where we struggled most is whenever Max got the DRS, basically because our weaknesses were just bigger. The straight-line speed difference was much bigger, he said. We were still quick in the corners, but not enough to have that margin to cover. So, from that moment onwards, it was a bit more difficult for us. But the Ferrari car showed dazzling promise as it looked relatively on par with the Red Bull despite its higher drag setup. But it wasn't just the cars that looked exceedingly similar. Jean Alesi, a former Ferrari driver himself, admitted how surprised he was to see the two drivers so evenly matched throughout the first two races. When I see Leclerc and Verstappen, I feel like I'm looking at a double image. They are a photocopy of each other. Charles may seem better at reading a race, but that's just an impression, he said. But others in the paddock were quick to side with one driver, with Martin Brundle praising Leclerc and acknowledging he was shocked by Verstappen's driving style, which he insisted the Dutchman changed over the winter since winning the championship. Verstappen's defense was firm but very fair, and with significantly less aggression than he dished out to Hamilton last season. Indeed, it was Leclerc who sliced across his nose into turn 4 on one occasion. It'll be fascinating to see how this plays out as the championship unfolds, Brundle admitted. But it wasn't all great news coming from Maranello, as Ferrari's team principal, Mattia Binotto, who has been in constant denial of Ferrari being the championship favorite, as he insists Ferrari are still the underdogs in this title charge. But with its recent success, he now admitted Leclerc drives like a world champion, but didn't rule out his fear over losing the development battle against Red Bull. I think keeping up the level of development through the season is always a challenge, not only for us, but all of the teams, he said. It is true our competitors are very strong in that and proved to be very strong. While as Ferrari, the last two opportunities we had in 2017 and 2018, we lost a bit of ground through development. But he switched back to the positives rather quickly as he admitted the Scuderia is better prepared than it's ever been. I think today we are much better prepared compared to the past to do the proper job as well in development, Binotto concluded. As Red Bull are set to shed off 8 kilos of weight for Imola, with this being the mere beginning of the development war, Binotto revealed his worry about the new budget caps and demands the FIA watch their competitors' books like hawks, as he didn't rule out teams finding clever ways to get around the ceiling figure. The teams are only allowed to spend pennies on the dollar to what they were previously used to, with the budget cap being set at $140 million firm. Ferrari and Red Bull were used to spending between $300 and $400 million on a single season prior to the financial regulations. So, it's understood that Binotto believes Red Bull might overspend, with the team already dumping loads of their funds towards new upgrades so early in the season. We want to know what you guys think. Do you think there is a better driver between Leclerc and Verstappen? Can you see Ferrari sustaining the challenge? And do you think the battle will go down to the wire this season? Let us know in the comments. We've let YouTube decide which video of ours you would enjoy watching next the most based on your own unique watching habits and preferences. Let's see if they are right this time.